As one of the world's oldest industries, maritime is rich in history, tradition, and conventions. Little wonder that thousands of years after it began, shipping has continued to remain a crucial component in global trade and transportation. And to be honest with you, one wonders how mankind would have ever survived till this moment in time without the maritime industry. Indeed, we all owe our collective survival and well-being to the maritime industry, and for very obvious reasons: economy and safety. Economy because, given the sheer size of what a single vessel or ship is able to transport, it makes for affordability of raw materials and finished products, especially when they get to the market. And safety, the records bear this out. Hello and welcome to your favorite nautical authoritative, NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime. Brought to you as always by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the nation's apex regulator of all that goes on in the world of shipping, ensuring that our economy continues to run by taking advantage of our coastal status. My name is Ubongesian, and it's always a pleasure to be your guide on this voyage.
You are watching NIMASA This Week.
NIMASA This Week.
NIMASA This Week. The voice of maritime.
The voice of maritime.
The voice of maritime.
The voice of maritime in Nigeria.
I'll encourage you to watch NIMASA This Week.
NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
Welcome back to NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime. And on today's episode of the program, we begin as always with the DG's diary. Dr. Bashir Jamo, what has he been up to in the Nigerian maritime space? You get to find out. There is Know Your Convention as well as our other regulars. So, if you're ready, it's anchors away.
Our world-class Maritime Experience Center is now live, announcing Maritime Stakeholders Experience Contact Center, MSECC, where you'll get simple, fast, and tailored solutions to all your maritime challenges on maritime safety, maritime labor, marine pollution, search and rescue, cabotage issues, ship registration, training and certification, and other maritime-related issues. Contact us via the following channels: 23401-630-9590. Email us at contactcenter@nimasa.gov.ng, info@nimasa.gov.ng. Chat with us www.nimasa.gov.ng, and on Facebook at NIMASA Official. Let's resolve all your maritime related issues. The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has stated that a revised working condition for Nigerian seafarers is a major component of the proposed review of the NIMASA Act and the Merchant Shipping Act currently before the National Assembly for consideration. He stated this during the inauguration of the Tripartite National Joint Industrial Council meeting for the review of minimum standards for Nigerian seafarers, being hosted by the agency and held in Lagos.
It is my pleasure and happiness to be here this morning for the review of the welfare of the important personalities, the CPRs. I've been in the maritime industry close to 3 decades now. I have never seen something that ginger and improve capacity, performance, productivity, other than the well-being of staffs. once an organization decide to take issues of welfare of their own staff, then the welfare of well-being of your investment is being secured, because that is where the crux of the matter lies.
The DG noted that the importance of providing Nigerian seafarers with suitable remuneration and working conditions, as well as the need for labor employers to guarantee that their terms of service are in compliance with international best practices, determines the significance of the meeting.
Now, we have CPRs that they don't live on the hinterland. What do we have for them? What policies are we making? What are the procedures are we making for them to feel comfortable in terms of compensations, remunerations, working environment, well-being, as well as welfare? This is what defines the importance of this gathering, to determine what sort of compensation, remuneration, what type of workplace, what type of environment should we have for the well-being of the CPRs, that they don't have homes other than that ship, and they move around the clock, 24 hours, 7 days in a week in the ship. Now, for the ship owner to guarantee that investment, he must be able to come to the terms and conditions that stipulate on that agreement. There is no other time other than now for us to look at the review of the conditions of these important CPRs. Why? Because we are now in the verge of amending the NIMASA Act 2007, as well as Merchant Shipping Act 2007. What this bargain agreement or tripartite agreement will come about is what we are going to input in our own amended copies of the NIMASA Act as well as Merchant Shipping Act, to make sure that it stands the test of time and is in line with the international best practices.
The Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, and Chairman of National Joint Industrial Council, Engineer Victor Che, stressed the advantages of the ongoing review for the Nigerian maritime sector as a whole.
The agency has been facilitating the Council negotiation on review of the existing minimum standards with a view to arriving at acceptable and implementable standards that will be binding on both employers and the workers in the nation's maritime labor industry. Thus far, the regulation of the minimum standard of living and working condition of seafarers through the instrument of the collective bargaining agreement process has created a harmonious working relationship between stakeholders, seafarers, seafarer employers, the union, and the employees, thereby leading to an improved productivity.
Speaking at the event, the President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Comrade Adewale Adeyanju, berated the negligent attitude of some employers of seafarers towards the review of the minimum standard for Nigerian seafarers.
But with coming of NGIC for seafarers in Nigeria today, it's going to take care of most of all those mistakes of the past. And that is why I'm thanking the DG and his team for coming up with this new direction that is going to put the seafarers where they belong to.
The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Bashir Jamo, has expressed his continued support towards the members of the maritime editors and publishers in employing technology in trade participation and suppression of smuggling. The DG made this known at the annual general meeting of the League of Maritime Editors and Publishers, which was held at the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, in Lagos.
If you don't have information, you are nobody. So, and if you look at the maritime media today, during the day you see them flying, looking for information. To do what? To educate general public. To do what? To sensitize general public. To do what? To inform general public. To do what? To change the perception, to change the thinking, to change the negative dimension of things within the maritime industry. And then I will now wake up for them to say, oh, come, let's rub mind together. And I will say no. No, I don't think I think it's disservice not to the maritime media, but to the nation. Because if the maritime media decided to go the other way around, then everything will go other way around. That's negative side. You have done a lot. There are more to do. What is that a lot? Maritime media, in terms of capacity building, I am willing, and I am continue to say this, without education, without knowledge, without training and retraining of any practitioner to become a professional, that profession is a dead profession. When you are not learning, you are decaying.
Dr. Jamo further emphasized the media reportage of hoodlums in his words.
The little resources you have, you may not be able to contain it. Even if you can contain it, probably maybe within the limits and the ambit of our own economy in this country. So you need assistance. That assistance can come if you pool all the energies, the resources, the expertise, the professionalism to make sure that you have a dynamic and strong force to request for that, for people and agencies like ours to assist you. So if you do that, I think the dimension, the impression of the maritime media industry is going to change. Part of the things that Irabo discussed was the sensational story that the media do make in favor of these hoodlums and bandits. He tried to say that, yes, you are doing great, but a lot need to be done.
The DG appealed to members of the press to be good stewards of the nation, and they should be just in the reportage. He also appreciated the members of maritime journalists for the contributions and dedication they have been making to the maritime industry.
I am here to come and rejoice with you, be part of you, and to tell you that we will never let you down and we will continue to be with you in everything you do. But our appeal always is this: you are the watchdog of the nation. Whatever you say, whether right or wrong, people will believe it all.
Hello viewers, welcome again to the Know Your Convention segment on NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime. I am Olabisi George, and today we'll be speaking about maritime security, the legislations and conventions that regulate maritime security. To have this conversation with me today is Mr. Otonye Obon. Director, Deep Blue Project. You're welcome to the segment, sir.
Thank you very much, Ola.
And also, Poela Doyetiemo, Assistant Director, Legal Services Unit. You're welcome, Poela.
Thank you very much, PC.
Poela, you'll be giving us the conventions that regulate maritime security in Nigeria. Since this is the Know Your Convention segment, can you give us an introduction into the conventions, please?
Thank you very much, PC. Technically, we have two conventions that regulate maritime security in Nigeria, one of which is the United Nations Convention on the Laws of Seas called UNCLOS 1982. And then we have the Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts against safety of maritime navigation, what we popularly call the SWA Convention of 1988. These two conventions put together give birth to what we will call the SPOMO Act, which Mr. President signed into law in 2019. It is the suppression of piracy and other maritime offenses at sea.
All right. So the SPOMO Act, as you have introduced us into, what the main objective of the SPOMO Act?
The SPOMO Act lays to rest two main issues. One is the definition of piracy, as well, where the Constitution of Nigeria does not allow you to prosecute someone for a crime that has not been properly domesticated. So the SPOMO Act properly domesticates unlawful acts, piracy, and other maritime offenses that happen at sea in Nigeria. So one of the objectives of the SPOMO Act is to suppress piracy and other maritime offenses that happen at sea.
So can you give us details into what these other maritime offenses are?
So Section 4 of the SPOMO Act gives list of acts, acts that will be punishable as an offense under the SPOMO Act. It talks about armed robbery at sea, it talks about piracy at sea, it talks about any willful damage to a ship, an aircraft at sea, a platform. And if you go on to subsection K of the Act, it actually talks about any damage, unlawful damage to a platform, an oil rig that causes an unlawful discharge of a certain quantity of oil into the waters that can cause harm or death or damage to the ecological system or to the sea, would actually come under as an offense under the SPOMO Act.
So the SPOMO Act has a range of offenses ranging from violence to unlawful discharges,
kidnapping, hijacking, aiding and abetting, obstruction of justice. It really goes, it spells out wide.
Okay, thank you for that, Poela. To the director, Deep Blue Project. Can we ask, what exactly is the Deep Blue Project about as it relates to maritime offenses?
Okay, thank you. The Deep Blue Project is an integrated national security and waterways protection infrastructure. It was commissioned on the 10th of June 2021 by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it's coordinated by a steering committee chaired by the Minister for Defense and co-chaired by the Minister for Transportation, in which all the service chiefs are members of the steering committee, and thereafter a project management committee. It is intended to complement the already existing security infrastructure and the architecture of the statutory bodies empowered to keep maritime security. And that is about the Blue. It fights against piracy and other maritime crimes.
Offenses. So when does an incident reporting, for instance, how does the Deep Blue respond?
The response is very prompt because we have the Command and Control Communication and Computer and Intelligence Unit, which is the C4I. The C4I is a maritime domain intelligence gathering system, and it searches into the maritime domain, and any suspected behaviors by vessels are always picked, and any vessel interpreted by ways of conduct to be a risky behavior is immediately reported to the statutory bodies that are to maintain maritime security and also to our intervention team, and instantly that vessel is supposed to be clamped upon.
Let me come back to you, Poela. Yes. On reporting of maritime offences, what does the SPOMO Act say?
Well, the SPOMO Act is very clear. The agency is the responsible government organization or institution that is the first call of when there's an incident. So there's a reporting procedure. The master of ship, by virtue of the SPOMO Act, any individual or person. So a person, there can be the insurance, the master of ship, the owner of ship. When an incident has occurred, reports that to the agency through a form. So there's a incident reporting form, which can be found on the agency's website. So they fill that form and send it to the agency, and then the process my director has just talked about kicks in.
So viewers, that's as much as we can bring to you on this segment of Know Your Conventions. Until next week when we bring you the concluding part, please stay tuned as NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime continues.
Introducing the NIMASA Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167, 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and NIMASA will respond.
It's still NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime. Let's check out some online conversations about goings-on in the Nigerian maritime industry. Let's continue the conversation with the DG of NIMASA, as well as at NIMASA Official. However, when it comes to doing maritime business, be it shipping, maritime labor, training, the marine environment, you name it, if it has anything to do with our waters, remember there are rules, because this industry is heavily regulated, and NIMASA is the prefect. I like to use the word prefect because NIMASA bears core oversight responsibility for all that goes on in the Nigerian maritime domain. NIMASA is the apex regulator and promoter of the maritime industry. And that's the reason why we say to you always on this program to make the NIMASA official website, currently displaying on your screen, your first port of call to ensure you have the right information and updates for your decision making. Thank you for watching today's episode of NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime, and we hope you found some of the information we've shared with you enlightening and educative. And we also hope that you are appreciating some of the efforts that NIMASA continues to deploy towards ensuring that we harness our blue economy potential. In the words of Mehmet Ilden, every ship needs a port, because unlike ships, the waves never get tired. Till I see you next time, my name remains Ubong Esen, and I'm asking you as always to stay on course. Bye-bye.